Hello, welcome to Alexander's Prestige. Today, I want to talk to you about the Urus S and Performante, two fabulous cars, and I wanted to show you the differences in specifications and what they're like to drive. So let me talk you through it. So we've got two cars here, both in green, both very different greens. One is Verde Mantis and one is Ad Personam Verde Turbine. So I'll get on to that. So this car is the Urus S. So the Urus S is the facelift version of the previous Urus, so that came out in 2023, and this is now where things start with the Urus range. So visually, there's some minor tweaks to where it was previously. So the front bumper is actually completely redesigned, although it's only very minor. Slight changes here, slight changes to where the slats are. They used to be hexagonal, now they're straight. One important thing to note actually though, on the Urus S, if you don't order the shiny black pack with the front splitter, you actually don't get any of this section on the car. Now I made that mistake with my Urus S, and it actually looks like an amphibious car, so I had to replace the whole front bumper. So just a tip there. You also get these fabulous bonnet louvres, which really do change the design of the car. Going down the side, wonderful little Urus S badges, very much similar to the previous Urus. Around the back, again, just small design changes. You got these louvres in the rear bumper. The whole bumper is actually a complete different design, but just subtly designed. Now, there is also modifications to the performance of the car. Now, I'll talk about a little bit more when I drive the car, but inside as well. Again, very familiar Urus, but you now get a few little changes, so you can get the black anodized trim. So all the chrome is taken off the car. So on the Bang & Olufsen speakers, the chrome trims to the center, you can now get those in black. You can now also get the Alcantara trim in a bit more detail, very similar to the Performante actually, and I'll show you that in a second. But there are a few different changes you can get with the S. And also some small changes to the dashboard, to the graphics and what have you. But ultimately, this is almost a mild facelift to the Urus, but with some performance tweaks as well. So that's the S. Let's move on to the Performante. So the Urus Performante. Now let me tell you all about this. Immediately you can see this car's got a slightly different stance to the Urus S, because it actually sits 20 millimeters lower and 60 millimeters wider, because this car is on the steel springs, not the air suspension. So I'll actually come on to that when we have a drive in the car. And also, there is a different look to this car. There's loads of carbon fiber on it. You get a lot of carbon as standard on the sills, etc., but you can also get the extra carbon fiber pack. So you get it on the wheel arches, and also you can get the addition of the exposed carbon fiber bonnet, which just looks absolutely fabulous. Now, I am going to be slightly biased about this car, I'm afraid, because this is actually my own car. But one little interesting tip is if you order the car satin from factory, you can't get the exposed carbon fiber bonnet. So what I did is I ordered the Ad Personam Verde Turbine, but then I put a satin PPF on it, which meant I had the stealthy look, but I also got the exposed bonnet. So looking around the car, again, slight changes with the Performante. A lot of it's to do with the aerodynamics. You get the wonderful rear spoiler here. At the back, the rear diffuser is quite a lot different. You also get the Acrofrovich exhaust, which sounds amazing and also is a lot lighter. Exclusive 23-inch alloy wheels on the Performante, which is different to the S, and you can only get them on the Perf. So much more, but a lot of it's in the drive of this car. So also on the inside, there's some changes. It's fairly standard Urus fare, so you've still got the comfort massage seats and all the comforts that you get from a Urus S, but you get acres of Alcantara, so all over the dash, all over the doors. You get more carbon fiber on this car. You get special stitching on the seats. It just, when you get in the car, it just feels that little bit more special. So talking about getting in the car, let's jump in, see what it's like to drive, and I'll compare the two cars. Okay, so as I said before, this car is 40 kilos lighter. Predominantly that's through the titanium Acrofrovich exhaust and the suspension, and also the use of carbon fiber really makes this car lighter. And boy, can you feel it. I mean, if we just put ourselves in Corsa now, into manual, first of all, listen to that exhaust. Oh, wow. But the turning is so sharp, so direct, so sharp, and it just, this car does things that cars shouldn't do of this size. It is as close to a supercar as you're going to get, that you can put 4 people in, and a dog if you want to. But, I mean, the exhaust, listen. It just barks on the upshift. It crackles and bangs on the downshift. Also, with this car having the updated gearbox, the gear changes are really quick, really direct. And what more can you want from a car? I don't know. But there is one other thing this car has got, which the Urus S doesn't have. It has the rally mode. So if I put it into rally mode now, it's still in the equivalent of Corsa, all the pops, all the bangs, everything you need. But it also lets the rear differential slip a little bit more. So I obviously can't do it on a public road, but this car can drift. It can properly drift. Is there any downsides to the Performante? Well, pretty much none, other than one elephant in the room, which is this suspension. I don't know if you can see now, I'm on a country road, and it is jiggling me about. It is quite jiggly. When you're in the car by yourself, when you're on the motorway, it's fine. When you're on a track, it's fine. But when you've got the family in the car and you're on a country lane like this, and everyone's bobbing about, it is a touch on the firm side, just a touch on the firm side. It wouldn't stop you buying the car, it wouldn't stop you enjoying the car, but when you're not on it, it would be nice to just have the air suspension. That's my only criticism. Other than that, it's fabulous. So, the Urus S. Ultimately, as I've said before, this is a facelifted Urus. So with that facelift, obviously you've got those little changes on the outside, but more importantly, you've got updates to the gearbox, you've got updates to the engine, and you've got updates to the exhaust. So the exhaust is that little bit louder. The gearbox is definitely quicker and sharper than the previous generation pre-facelift Urus. And the extra horsepower, up to 666 horsepower, does just make that little bit of difference. Now, one thing that's a common misconception is everyone thinks the Performante is actually more powerful than the Urus S. It actually isn't. They both have identical engines. So the only difference with the Performante is the fact it's that little bit lighter. But performance-wise, well, power-wise, it's exactly the same. So with the Urus S, as I said, you can feel the difference in the gear changes from the previous car. It's much, much sharper. And if I put the car into Corsa, which is obviously the more powerful, more angrier mode, you still get a fabulous noise from the engine. A little bit more tuned than what it was before. Those gear changes are notable. The ride is notable. It's just like the best, just got better really. So in summary, what are these two cars like? Is the Performante worth £20,000 more on its list price than the Urus S? Well, it does drive better, it does look better, but if I could honestly choose, I would have a Performante with Urus S suspension. I think that would be perfect. But they're both fantastic, so what more can I say? They're all sold out, so they must be good. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching.